Episode 11. It's the first one in December.
The final one of the year.
The final one of the year.
Yeah.
We don't want to do one more? We could probably squeeze one more in.
What?
Maybe. But we're going to have to get...
You got like 15 December coming up. Then after that, you've got Christmas dues coming up, and then you've got Christmas itself. So I would say this is the last one of the year. I mean,
maybe the last.
Yeah. I mean, as a collective, it will be the last one of the year.
Yeah.
You know,
there'll be other bits going on.
Yeah, there'll be other.
It's a shame we didn't even get the Christmas tree up.
Oh, we've got it downstairs. Take
It's very
take a photo of downstairs, all right, and then put it on the background.
We'll put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you about the two boys when putting the Christmas decorations up?
No.
I think I told you. So we're putting the Christmas decorations up. Harrison 7, Freddie 2.
Right.
So we get all the decks up, put the tree up. I turn around. Freddie is over there, emptying all of the baubles on the floor. I've got wooden floors, going everywhere, kicking them under the... I turn around, start picking them up. And then I hear a thud behind me. I turn around. Harrison's on the floor. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I fell." I said, "You fell?" Yeah, I fell. Turn back around. And then next minute, all I see is Harrison on the sofa, holding up a bauble like this by the string, leaping into the Christmas tree. He went straight into it, knocked the Christmas tree down. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I was trying to get the top." Freddie's there kicking the baubles. I said, "You know what? I want to make a cup of tea." So I went, "What? You're not helping the boys?" I said, "No, they got it under control."
That's the way to do it.
I had to leave. I couldn't. I had to walk away. Right, okay, let's get into it. So we've got a couple of subjects to discuss today. Labour sets urgent timeline for total reform of leasehold, which is that's major. UK bank cuts mortgage rates as other lenders hike them. Deals starting at 4.3%. Kian loved this one. The crypto entrepreneur eats banana artwork bought for $6.2 million.
I saw that on TV the other day. Did he actually eat it?
Yeah.
Well, he bought it and then he ate it.
And then he ate it.
$6.2 million
on camera.
Worth of banana. One hell of a banana, that was.
Robert Kiyosaki, if I'm pronouncing that right. Is that right? Kiyosaki predicts Bitcoin price will soar to $500,000 by 2025. Obviously, you've got your predictions on that.
Yes.
And the UK house price is set for a modest growth in 2025. Okay, so those are the stories for today. We'll start with the Labour sets urgent timeline for total reform of leasehold. Looking into that's not going to be in play until 2020, I want to say 7.
Well, they reckon it's going to be in this parliament, basically, you know. Yeah. By 2028, they reckon they've got it through the legislation and basically set in stone. Whether that will happen or not, we don't know. But I think what they're going to do is it's going to be in force. You know, as I said, they're going to get rid of leasehold and make it a common hold. How they're going to do that, I can see that going forward with new build. You know, flats are just being built. Fine, you know, everyone, and I think they've already started doing that in the last.
With the new build flats, they have.
Yeah, they have in the last year or so. Everyone seems to be owning part of the actual land, so to speak. But what's going to happen to the old? I mean, there is hundreds of thousands, millions of flats up and down the country. How are they going to make basically the freeholder to give up the freehold and pass it on to the leaseholder, and then they walk away? I mean, they earn money out of this.
I mean, no freeholder is going to want to walk away.
No, because they earn money out of it. Every time a leasehold comes to around 80 years left, or around 80, lenders don't like lending on flats anymore. So the moment it gets down to 75, 78, the leaseholder's got to go back to the freeholder and says, can I renew my lease up to 225 years or 120 years or whatever it is? And then they go, yeah, sure, no problem. That'll be roughly around 10% of the value of their flat they've got to pay. So, that's a lot of money for them to walk away. And if a block of flats you've got, I don't know, 20 or 25 in a block, and that's millions, and they're not going to give that up easily. So I don't know how the government is going to get around that. That's the question.
Yeah, and it will also, because you were looking into the management side of it, it'll also give more rights for them to choose a management company without having to go through.
Yes, because essentially it would function almost like an RMC does now, a resident management company. So you'd have the common holders, where they're all freeholders, all contributing towards a common hold. They'd have a common hold association, some sort of company, which would function as sort of like a thing which they all vote towards different things. So they'd all appoint a managing agent, they'd vote on it.
Does the managing agent, because right now anyone can be a block management agent, right? Any agency.
But the leaseholders can run the management.
They can run it,
of course they can.
And they can also appoint whoever. So I'd imagine a lot of them will be looking at appointing someone who has all of the certificates, governed by the TPI.
Yes, you've got to be registered with with a recognised body in order to be bona fide and run it properly. Because of course, with block management, there is a lot of. I'm not saying that every single person does that, but there could be fraud going on whereby the managing agent could charge the leaseholders X amount while it really didn't cost that much. It cost a lot less, and they pocket the difference. And this is where a lot of leaseholders are very unhappy, saying, well, hold on, we're paying all this money that you're asking for. What do you do with it? Where does it go? There is no real evidence of where the money goes unless you are TPI registered. And then you have to show them all your books and everything else. So, and I think part of this reform is to do with that as well, is to make sure that the common holders can get rid of the managing agent as and when they want, rather than having to get the votes and then going through the usual court case and getting rid of them. So on that basis, it will work very, very, very well for the freeholders or common holders, in order to, if the managing agent is not performing, get rid of him, bring somebody else in.
Because right now you have to do a right to manage.
Yeah.
And that's over 50% of the leaseholders have to agree.
Yes.
That they want to change managing agent. They would have to then set up a right to manage company, appoint a solicitor.
Correct.
And then go through that channel. Yeah.
It's a long-winded process.
Process.
But with common hold, all that gets eliminated. They're not happy, they vote, get rid of him, bring somebody else in.
So how can they appoint, because we've seen a few now, like we said in the new builds, how can they appoint directors to be in charge of that?
Well, basically what they do, what they're saying is that they appoint 2 residents to be the directors of that site. Now, whether it's usually get a site with maybe 50 or 60 houses and 2 or 3 blocks of flats. But you have to be a resident of that
complex. Put their name forward, or they just...
No, you put your name forward. Oh yeah, you put your name forward.
Would you want to do it?
Not me personally. But you have certain types that want to have control over the way they live, which is perfectly understandable.
I mean, to be a director, but pass on the management to somebody else to manage it, it's fine, because as a director you will manage the managers, the managing agents. So it's not that difficult. But if the director also becomes the managing agent, now that's a different kettle of fish, because all of a sudden, he's spent all his time trying to manage this site, whereby he's got other jobs, full-time job to do or anything else, and it becomes a real pain. So on that basis, being a director while he's managing the managing agent is quite simple. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously we won't give our opinion, but for the market, would you think it's a good or a bad thing that the market are saying right now? The market's reacting. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that they're looking to do this going forward?
I think
the market would say.
For obviously existing leasehold properties, a lot of them will be holding on. I'd imagine they'd ask for lease extensions when this new thing comes in, because the automatic lease duration will be 990.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not having any more leasehold houses and stuff like that. So potentially the value of those flats and apartments will go up. Potentially. I don't personally know. But
yeah, I think you're right. No, I think you're right, Ken. I think it's a very positive move. I mean, the whole thing has come about because of Grenfell incident that happened a few years ago, whereby it's all about the cladding. Leaseholders were not aware what the freeholder or the managing agent was putting up there. So there's a lot of leaseholders that are stuck in their flat. They can't sell it because the cladding on the block is not safe, and it costs in some cases hundreds of thousands of pounds to replace, and each leaseholder has got to pay something like 30, 40, 50, 60,000 pounds towards it. They can't afford it. So on that basis, hence the whole the whole system is going to change.
And they have no choice as well.
They have no choice. No,
If they get told, here's the bill, you have to pay it.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
So on that basis, the government, if it was down to the common holders, they may have researched, they may have done a lot more work and found the right cladding that would have been safe. Just not because of the price. The managing agent might have done it in order to cut cost and put something up there that they said it was safe, but didn't do a lot of research on it. So on that basis, if the common holders decide on whatever it is that they have to decide, then they themselves are to blame and no one else. But here, the managing agents are the ones to blame, or the freeholders are the ones to be blamed. So yeah, that's the reason the whole thing came about and needs to change. Yeah.
Okay. Should we transition into the next story, which is the major UK bank cuts mortgage rates as other lenders hike them, deals starting at 4.3%. So a major bank is lowering some of its mortgage rates after a series of hikes by other lenders. Barclays has announced it will reduce rates up to 0.20 percentage points on selected residential purchase and remortgage products. So the bank explained the decision was made in response to a volatile period in the swap markets, which lenders use to determine mortgage pricing. We were having a conversation about this. Now, they're saying that they're dropping the rates. Obviously, they're trying to compete in the place, get more mortgages in. However, a lot of lenders did reduce their prices before. Are they now reducing theirs while everyone else is kind of going up? Or do you think they are the first ones to, let's do this, let's drop the rates down?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I what you've just said is bang on. It's the swap market that determines on the interest rate. Originally, a few months ago, Bank of England started reducing rates. And everyone thought, well, this is it. This is the beginning of the reduction of rates. So everyone banked, the bankers, the bank thought, okay, fine, let's start bringing the rates down because the swap market is going to be favorable. Hence, since the November the 5th election in the US and what Trump has said he's going to do and everything else, with the trade war and everything else, all of a sudden, this has put a spin in it. Why? Because they think, well, hold on, inflation is going to creep back in. And if inflation creeps back in, they've got to tame the inflation. All of a sudden, the swap market, the futures market, thinking, well, hold on, we may not be able to cut the rates as much as we thought we are going to a few months ago. So for that reason, I really don't think they know which way they're going to go. They kind of, since November the 5th, after that, they start putting their rates up, thinking, well, hold on, the inflation is probably going to go up. But if, as and when Trump comes in, not if, but as and when, which is January the 20th, once he takes the office, and within a matter of weeks or months, everyone would know what his intentions are, whether we're going to go with in a tariff war or not, then things will settle down or will heat up. But until then, everyone's guessing. I believe even the swap market is kind of guessing which way it's going to go. So this is why Barclays has decided to bring down by 0.2%. And I think, am I right in saying that they are the first ones to announce a 1.5-year fixed rather than 2-year fixed?
I believe so, yeah.
Am I right in saying that?
I believe so.
So that just shows you that rather than a 2-year fix, they're going to go 1.5 years because they don't know which way the market is going to go. So the fixed rate are going to be shorter so that they're not giving a long-term low rates.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got December, which will be the next time they're going to look at the interest rates.
Yeah.
Your predictions?
I don't see it going down at all. It would stay. If anything, potentially go up.
Yeah.
It might be a bit extreme, but
I don't think it's going to go up. I think it stays the same because, as I say, it's a very unknown at the moment. So they'd rather leave it as it is and see what happens after.
Yeah.
Well, we went from inflation was at 1.7. I think last time we spoke.
Yeah, it's below. Yes.
Yeah, 1.7.
And
now sitting at 2.3.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's gone up
In a short space.
Yeah.
Short space of time.
It is, and they. I mean, obviously, inflation that comes in, it's not what happened the last month, but it's what's been happening over the last few months.
Yeah.
So when we had the 1.7, it was an effect of what's happened in the last good few months rather than what happened last month. So that is why we are between 1.7, which we were, 2.3, maybe 2.5, maybe come down to 2. So at the moment, nobody knows. Even I don't know. No, everyone can guess.
Yeah.
Everyone has the right to guess, but no one actually knows. Yes.
Yeah. That brings us on to the next story, which is it's quite fascinating actually. I tell you what, let's start with the Robert Kiyosaki, because where we're talking about guessing.
Yeah.
So Robert,
he's the master of guesser. He
is. Well, I tell you what he did is he asked AI this question,
Yes.
and I gave it. So the cryptocurrency market continues to stir up. Bold predictions, latest coming from none other than Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki. He declared that Bitcoin price could hit $500,000 according to AI. So he asked it, what's the price going to be in 2025? And it gave him that figure. Now we're talking about guessing. I mean, you can't really make a clear.
What I want to know is that what does the AI know that we don't know?
That's the point.
But
That's the point.
it's
You can't ask it and then actually say, "Oh, hang on, this is what it said. Let's run with it."
yeah. But obviously, Robert needs to be in the news at all times in order to sell his books. He sold millions. I believe the last time I read was he'd sold 30 million copies of his book in 51. Right, in 51 languages or 21 languages, but it's been translated. So he's a great author, and I've read his book. I read his book, maybe 15, 20 years ago, and he's a very, very, very good author. But his predictions, and I've been following him for as long as, 10 years now, and his prediction is very, very wild. Now, will Bitcoin hit $500,000? Yes. Will it hit it in 2025? Well, your guess is as good as mine. We don't know. Some people say yes. Some people say, yeah, by 2030. Some people say by 2032, it'll be 1.5 million. But hold on. I'm going to pick a figure out the air and go, it's going to be 700,000. And they're going to go, how do you know? I don't know. I just guessed. No one knows. I remember Robert was saying that Bitcoin is going to hit around 150,000 by 2023. Well, it never did. No, it went nowhere near it. 50% of it, 75 was about $72,000 was as close as it got in 2021, I think. So no.
He also said 350,000 by August 2024.
Yeah, and it didn't happen. And that's
that-
nowhere
didn't
near
happen?
it. No.
So he's got a poor track record for guessing estimates.
He's got a great he's got a great track record for guessing, but he's got a really poor track record for guessing it right.
But AI is giving the information.
Yes.
Where do you think, Kian, where do you think AI is going to be in 10 years' time?
I think it will be obviously a lot more present in our lives, but by then it will have caused a massive ethical issue and things like that. Because obviously AI only predicts on the data it's fed.
Mm-hmm.
So the more data you feed a particular learning model, the more it will learn. So it will become a question of how much you're willing to feed into an AI learning algorithm.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do see it being across all industries, all facets of life, facilitating many things, but also causing ethical issues.
Yeah.
I think it'll be more prevalent in our lives, definitely in 10
I think
years.
it'll still be there. Well, we were talking on Saturday when I was at yours, and you said that everyone's doing it at the moment. You're asking AI when you will sadly pass, and it's giving you the exact time and date. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, there's an app. There's an app out there right now that you can put all your information in, right? Although I haven't done it personally because I'd rather not know. But you can put all your personal information in, habits and eating habits and everything else in there. And it actually tells you, through natural causes, that is, not, you go out there and get hit by a bus or something. No, natural causes. It tells you exactly when, the end of your life is here. So, and you think, well, hold on, what?
And people are actually going on getting this app and finding
you've got to pay for it. You've got to pay for this. You've got to pay for this service, and then it tells you, and it's really, a lot of people are using it. Now, whether they're using it as a joke or whether they're using it, but it's an AI, and what is interesting, what it really is interesting, is that the insurance companies are just about to start using this in order to go, okay, fine, we'll insure you, but of course, and your premium will be X amount because of your eating out, because AI said you're gonna, die sooner than we think. So, that kind of thing. So once insurance companies start using this, and I'm sure this is the beginning, and it'll get better and better and better and better. So at one stage, in years to come, apart from accidents, but this will be pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we were talking how it will affect the property market. Now, I think, and I don't know when or what date, but I could only imagine the way it's going is you could probably, at some point, say you want to view a property, you could walk into an agent. We don't even need to walk into an agent. You have your VR headset and goggles. You could see a property without actually going to see a property. Do you think that will be something they'll look to do? You can put it on, you see a property online, you click it, you're now in the room. You can walk around the room as you're viewing that property that's advertised.
It's happening already to a certain point. It's already out there, but it'll get better and better and better. I was talking to a colleague of mine the other day, and he was saying to me, look, do you think there'll be a day that you view properties online, through these virtual reality headsets or glasses or whatever that is going to be, and then you go, okay, I'll buy that. You buy it, you press, you organize your finance, and then all you do is there'll be a key box outside the house. You can take the key and go in there, and it's yours. Will it ever be like that? Yes, I reckon it will be if you're an investor. An investor has no emotion attached to what they buy and sell. But I think if you're going to live in there and it's going to be your own home, and it's going to be quite perfect as a home, I don't think that will happen if it's your own home. But if it's an investment, it's already happening. People going online, auctions, they click a button, they buy the property because they can figure out how much it's going to cost, and then when they move in, when they go in there to have a look and go, okay, fine, it's going to cost X amount, and I'll sell it. So it is already there as an investment, but whether it'll be as a main home, we don't know.
Well, people like to walk in and have that feeling, don't they? When you go and visit, you go and see a house, and you walk in, from the moment you walk in whether this is yours, whether you want it. from the smells, from the feel, from the feelings of just walking into that property. So that would take that aspect away. So I can't see,
AI can't do that. It doesn't give you that feeling. No.
Can't give you that feeling.
Yeah.
So I can see it working, like you said, investment wise.
Yeah.
And it will save a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money when it comes to that. But as a family home, I can't see it replacing that human touch and feel.
I think what it would do, just like now, you can go online, you can go through through virtual reality, you can go through room to room, and once you really like it, you go, okay, now I want to go and view it. A lot of people now, they go around viewing 10, 15, 20 properties because they can't get that feel for it, because the photos doesn't, but virtual reality takes you one step further than just the photos.
Yeah.
And then you think, I like this one. Then you're going to have a look at it if you want to buy to live in it, and then you move in there. Otherwise, I think it will eliminate viewings that really are unnecessary. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because it went from still photos to a video walk round. Do you remember doing the video walk rounds? Video walk round, and then now to that where you click and you're in the property.
Your 360 degree
That's the one.
That's
view,
360.
yeah.
That's right. And then next will be virtual reality headset. Once that happens, then it eliminates, instead of doing 10 viewings, you'll do 2 viewings and you'll buy 1.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yes. Yeah.
So estate agents will still be needed in many years to come.
I reckon so. It's a people's game. It's definitely a people's game. It's not a machine game. It's a people's game. And look what happened to Purple Bricks. They tried to make it between buyers and sellers. All they did was put the property on, and you click, you go and negotiate yourself. They went bust.
Yeah.
So it's a people's game. Agents are always needed in order to negotiate the deal for you, in order to mediate for you. Yeah. Without mediation, the whole thing will fall apart.
Yeah, we were saying the other day, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but we were saying the other day that, I was saying that I think since COVID's happened, everyone at one point didn't want to see each other. It was all about, no, just leave me alone, give my own personal space. To now, it's done a U-turn, and I feel that more people actually want to engage again and actually start talking and get conversations going face to face. And do you agree?
It depends on the demographic. If you're a younger person, for example, who is now getting into property, maybe you're now in your 20s, early 20s, you spent a lot of time, a lot of formative years, unlike COVID, and you're more accustomed to it. Whereas if you've always known personal connection, you've always known going into businesses, then you're taken out of that, you're suddenly itching to get back into that environment. Yeah, obviously, everyone's different.
I agree with him.
So I never thought about that. So obviously you're in your 20s, I'm in my 30s, you're in your 30s as well.
Well, near enough. Yeah. just over 30. Yeah.
We spend more time, that. But obviously, let's say the younger group, that's what they were used to. They didn't see anything other than, okay, it's all online. We can't see each other, and they got so used to that. For how long have they gone for? 2 years?
No, the whole thing was around 3 years plus.
Lockdowns and everything,
about 3 years plus.
Yeah. Okay. Should we talk about the crypto entrepreneur?
The banana.
The banana.
Banana.
Okay, so the crypto entrepreneur eats banana artwork bought for 6.2. Remember when you first showed me this story? Zad, what's your opinion on the artwork?
I might just think that was one hell of a publicity stunt. It was nothing but a publicity stunt, and it was to do with crypto. Obviously, he bought the banana with cryptocurrency. I've got nothing to say apart from, I hope the banana was worth 6.2 million. I mean, I've had some expensive meals in my life, but nothing like a 6.2 million pound banana, $6.2 million banana. It was a publicity stunt, and it worked. It got whoever it was in the news, and it highlighted the cryptocurrency again. And obviously, since Trump has got in, and he's a very he favors cryptocurrency. He wants to make sure it gets deregulated and everything that goes with it. And it was a publicity stunt at the right time, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, Kian looked at me in great disgust when I said we're putting this on the on the topic of conversation.
I understand it. I understand that you want to market. It's a momentous moment in terms of culture in general. So I understand you wanted to put your name to it for the sake of the art, for the sake of whatever. But at its core, it is about making crypto in more headlines, which goes to benefit its cause in the long run. The more people hear about it, the more familiar it comes, the more likely they are to invest in it.
True.
Regular people.
We are at a digital age. Everything is going digital. Everything. In 10 years' time, 15 years' time, everything will be digital. So cryptocurrency is at the forefront of that digital age. The whole digital cryptocurrency is worth around 3 trillion at the moment altogether, or thereabouts. I was doing my research a couple of nights ago, and the anticipation is that it will be worth around $30 trillion in less than 10 years. So 3 trillion, it's only around 10% of what it's worth. It's got a lot to go. So, and I think with everyone, I mean, we've got a friend of ours whose daughter, very young daughter, she's in her 20s. I won't name names here, but she works for a firm that she's the AI programmer for commercial airline in order for the aeroplane to go from one destination to another without a pilot.
Without a pilot.
She is the AI programmer now, and she's in her 20s. Now you can imagine that in 10, 15 years' time, probably less than that, you're gonna and majority, 80% of accidents, airline accidents, is human error. So take human error out of it, you'll have less accidents.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be absolutely no accident, but it'll be a lot less accidents, 80% less accidents. So can you imagine? You sit in, I mean, taxis already there. Yeah. There is small aircrafts from one city to another in Australia. They're testing it at the moment. That is pilotless. So it's all coming. Digital age is coming, and you've got to embrace it. We've got to embrace it, and there is a lot of money to be made within that. The companies where you got shares now, it's going to be tokenized. So where you and I can buy shares in US or UK or Australia or France, but people in Middle East can't. People in South America can't, because their countries are under sanctions or whatever. All of a sudden, they can buy tokens in companies in US. Or it will open up the whole world to everyone. So I think it's a great thing. Great thing is coming. Yes.
Will the normal currency be dead?
It will become. I mean, what you're saying? Will cash disappear?
Cash. Well,
yeah. Yes.
Let's say we use pounds. We
will have a digital form of it.
A different digital form. So the actual pound as we know it,
I think that will disappear. As in cash as we know it, that we hold in our hand, that will disappear. It will be a digital. It is at the moment. Look, you go into a restaurant. First thing they say is, "I'm sorry, we don't take cash." You go to any hotels, they don't take cash. It's got to be card is digital form of currency.
It is, but it's still. You still put the cash in the. Not all the time, actually. I was going to say you still put the cash in your bank. It's still a pound. Would they change the name? Would it be like? I mean, what names do they have for the?
Well, you mean like Tether, which in US dollar?
Yeah.
Tether, yeah.
Will it be like that, and they'll drop that side? Dollars. There'll be no more dollars, but it'll all be Tether.
And Tether is very much pegged to the dollar, which is the same. So that's why, if you heard in the news the last couple of days, Trump is saying to the nations that are trying to block nation in order to bring in new currency, saying don't even think about it. Yeah. You've got to start using dollar. Dollar is the only one, the only reserve currency. So he's trying very hard to hold on to that dollar. Yes, the name may change to Tether, but it's US dollar pegged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. there was another part. You were talking about the aeroplane there, and I saw a story. You can fact check me if this is true, but the Uber originally started because they were hoping for self-driven cars. So right now, the article I read, they haven't made any money as of yet.
Yeah.
Just good shareholding, but they're waiting for the time where it's driverless cars.
Yeah.
And then that's when they'll start getting the profits in. I'm not sure how true that story is, but we'd have to have a look into that.
I remember reading something like that, but Uber has always been, they've always wanted to be cutting edge.
Yeah.
And the argument's been made many times that Uber works where taxis don't because it shows you exactly where the vehicle is.
Yeah.
And it's so, in the digital age, myself included, I prefer to take an Uber even if it costs more, because one, it's completely contactless, almost entirely. You don't pay with cash ever, really.
You don't
in
even
an
need
Uber.
to tap a card. It just
Yeah. The only time I use taxis where I'll pay cash is nowhere. The last time I used it
Yeah,
must
in
be
other
about
countries,
almost
yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. I've never used cash. It's always, as you say, Uber or even London cabs. They've got the same system now, whereby you kind of either go online or you can hail them down and then pay by your card. Tap your card and off you go. So it's very digital. Yeah.
Okay, let's transition to the last story, which is the UK house prices set for modest growth in 2025. So the prices and sales volumes are forecast to grow in 2025, despite ongoing budget pressures, according to the latest Zoopla House Price Index. So the property listing website also revealed that the average house price is now 267,200, reflecting on 1.5% increase over the past 12 months, equivalent to a £3,900 rise. We were talking. You're predicting that the house prices are going to go up.
Yes. And by the way, since you've done this, 1.5% increase over the last 12 months. In October, November increase, we had a 1.2% increase. So it's almost 3% increase since last November. So your data is almost 2 days out of date.
Too late.
because of the latest figures that came out. So, and it's the biggest increase they've had in a month on month since 2022. So, and this is exactly what we said in our podcast. I think it was the 7th or 8th one. We spoke about house prices and why I think it's going to increase. So yes, this is the beginning, and we're going to see at least the next 2 years of property prices going higher by, I would say, around 7 or 8% a year. That's my prediction for the next 2 years. It's about 15 to 20% for the next 2 years ish. And then obviously that's a different story after that, but for the time being, yes, it's on the way up. Yes.
Yeah.
And I've given you my reasons as to why in previous episodes. Yes.
You on board with that?
Yeah, I think mostly yes, but a question I did have was, and I don't know how answerable this even is, how much or is the market at all dictated by first-time buyers? How much of it is?
Look, first-time buyers are the fuel of the market. Without first-time buyers, nothing moves up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always been the case, always will be the case.
Yeah.
So, and whenever the government comes out with an incentive, they usually incentivize first-time buyers
Absolutely.
in order to get the market going. So the answer to your question is extremely important. First-time buyers to get onto the ladder. Without them, the ladder doesn't move. It does move, but not as it should do. And if you look at all the previous price increases within the last 100 years, you'll notice it's always first-time buyers that manage to get on the ladder, and it moves everything further up, and it fuels everything else. Yes.
But you were looking at the stamp duty as well, weren't you?
Yeah, because the question then becomes, if you cast your mind back to the budget, obviously we had stamp duty. Remember the threshold for first-time buyers is going from 425,000 to 300,000.
Yes.
So would that have any effect on the demand? Obviously, affordability it will do, but on the activity of the buyers market?
It does. I mean, already when they announced this back in November, early November, that in April this is going to happen, the activity has already started because people are thinking, oh, well, let's get in. Now, obviously, second-time buyers and so forth going up the ladder, theirs is they're going to start paying stamp duty from £125,000. It's only first-time buyers from 300, from 120, right? At the moment, it's 250,000. Goes down to 125. So for that reason, I'm thinking, okay, so the activity has already started. When there is activity, the prices will start going up. That's always the case. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
And at the moment, there is more demand than it was maybe a few months ago in order to get in. And that will push the prices up. Yes. And there's other factors as well, but this is one of the factors that is pushed the price up so much in 1 month since 2022.
If they leave interest rates where they are, inflation doesn't move, stays at 2.3%, or let's say it just comes down to 2%. Interest rates they just keep it going momentum wise, is just to flow it through. Will house prices still go up?
Not as much as one would think.
Hence why the modest growth.
Yes, it'll be maybe 2 or 3% a year, but every time interest rates, of course, it's not that it comes down, that activity starts. It's the talk of the trend that it's going to come. House price starts picking up, and then by the time interest rate is at its lowest, the move had already happened. It's happened. It's always the case. And then once the interest rate is at the bottom, of course, in the last 10 years or so, we've had exceptional circumstances, but usually it goes to a level lower and then stays there for a little while and then starts coming back up again. So, and that's where people, supply and demand. So here was a perfect, we went up, stayed there and started rolling back down now. Hence, this is what normal market is. It goes all the way up, stays up there for a while, and then comes back down, stays down for a while, goes up. And that's a cycle. What we had last 10, 15 years, since 2007, 2008, that was exceptional. And hence, it really pushed the inflation up to around 11, 12% at one stage, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.